How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. Decided I was going to do a relatively short live video in the middle of the day. You can see the sun outside, at least in the background. You can see the sun shining a little bit. So yeah, like day drinking, but day video making. I changed things up a little bit and was just kind of checking it out, seeing how everything was in the screen and centered, make sure I had my camera right. And yeah, so I think I got everything right. And what I was going to talk about was like I've been watching some shows on YouTube about these young people, and I say young people like early to mid 20s, doing reviews on 80s rock and roll hair bands, things like that, and it started making me think. Started making me think like any Gen Xers that grew up in the 80s and 90s. Um, Man, we lucked out on music. I think, and I'm sure every generation kind of has their own opinion, but like we lucked out on a lot of things, pre cell phones, pre computers. We understand that transition. Um, we got to listen to, rock and roll music, any kind of music for that matter, without auto tune, where people actually like played the guitar and sung into a microphone. And if they were off key a little, they were off key. You just had to deal with it. Now everything's run through computers and AI, so like anybody can sound good, and that's something for maybe a future video, or I'll do some singing and I'll sound like Elvis. But anyway, it got me thinking about the music and how 80s big hair bands. I love them. I love listening to that music. White Snake and Poison, and I don't know, White Lion and Cinderella and Ozzy, and I mean this just like whole gamut. And we were really lucky because the music was just really good. And even into the early 90s, bands like Warrant and Firehouse, and oh gosh, there's a huge list. But we got lucky because there was always fresh stuff. And just kind of little side note here, I've also noticed too, and maybe I'm just partial because I'm a Gen Xer, but movies were good back then too. The Breakfast Club, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Red Dawn, Stripes. It was just like a constant flow of good imagination, good artistry, good producing, and then it just kind of really like fell off. And now even Star Wars, and The Empire Strikes Back, they were real like movies, and now they just like put everything in the computer, run it through CGI, run it through AI, and then boom, they produce a movie. And I think the one thing I've always been upset about is literally like every good movie, 98% of all the good movies when I was young, they've been reproduced, and then they just don't have the same edge. They don't have the same feel as the original. So I don't even know why they waste their time in redoing it. And other than, it's just money. They see that, this movie 30 years ago or 40 years ago, this movie grossed, 150 million, we can capitalize on that and just redo some things, and, we can make millions of dollars. And I don't know, I'm over it. I wish they made a good movie. I go through, I have YouTube and cable and Paramount, HBO, and all these apps on my TV, and I literally can search for a couple hours before I just settle and pick a movie. So yeah, movies, we got lucky in the 80s too. I guess this was just supposed to be about music, but I can't just stay on music, because even the cars were pretty awesome especially the late 80s and early 90s. The cars were awesome. Movies were awesome. I remember going to the theater, every week. I lived in a small town, but at the time I'm thinking I lived in a small town, and they had one movie theater, and every week the movie changed. And they were always good ones. Like they were just always good ones. Now, I can't say they're not. I've seen good movies recently, but it just isn't the same. And I don't know. I mean, here's a personal thing. I don't know if I've changed or if the whole process has changed. And I'll give you another example. Is food. A lot of food just doesn't taste the same I remember and it was 1984, and I remember it was 1984 because of the Olympics. We didn't live too far from a McDonald's, and me and my brother and me and my friends could go to McDonald's, ask them for Olympic like playing cards. They were like lottery tickets, and they would give us 3. We would walk in and be like, "Hey, we want to play this," and they would give us 3. And more times than not, we would win like a small Coke or a small French fries or a cheeseburger. Sometimes, we'd get a Big Mac, and they were just good. I mean, I don't know if it was because I was a kid and liked it, or if that's just how much the whole food has changed. I had a discussion with an older lady just the other day. It was like, Pizza Hut used to be really good pizza, and it was like a treat to go there. And now it's some of the most awful pizza I've ever eaten in my life. And I just don't understand. I can't say I don't understand. I'm not sure if I'm the problem or if the food industry and just the world in general is the problem, because, I've already said music's not the same as it used to be. Movies aren't the same. The food's not the same. The cars aren't the same. I remember when you used to be able to get a car and it'd have crank windows, and you'd have to get it with power steering, because you could get the same car without power steering. Some cars just didn't even have air conditioning in them. You could get it, but you had to pay extra. If you didn't want to pay extra, you just wanted a car. You got a car without AC and power windows. And, then it became like now try to find a car without power windows, or try to find a car without AC. I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure they make them someplace, but probably like old work trucks. But even base model cars have all these bells and whistles on them. And, that's why they charge $20,000, $30,000 for an entry-level, low-end car nowadays, where before, back in the 70s, you'd buy a brand new car for $3,000, like a Ford Maverick or an AMC Pacer or a Gremlin. You could buy all these cars for, $3,000 to $5,000. You could buy a decent car, brand new. Now, they're not even obtainable for most people. To me, a new car is 10 years old. It's got less than 100,000 miles on it. I consider that a new car. I drive a 2008 pickup truck, and it still seems new to me. But so, yeah, I feel fortunate that one of the 80s, one of the Gen Xers, man. And I know there's a lot of people out there that, at least I believe they're out there, that feel the same way. Life's great. At least it was great then. Now, it seems like anything, it just keeps advancing and changes. And I'm sure my grandparents' generation or my parents' generation is like, thought the 80s and the 90s were crap, but I'm a product of it. I was born in 72, so I got to live. I had older brothers and sisters too, so I got to live a lot of the 80s. I grew up in Arizona in the city until I was about 15. So I got to be around a little bit, and I got to see the world at a real young age. And it just seems different nowadays, I guess. But that's what we want. We want things to be different, and we want things to advance, because otherwise we'd all still be driving Model A's with no windshields in them, because that worked. That was one of the first affordable automobiles, and everybody could get one, and it sure beat walking or riding a donkey to church. So a lot of people had them, and they were affordable and they were effective. So as long as you reach that mark, you still have to change. So that's where we're at. Everything's evolving. But to back to the music thing, and I'm not talking, I listen to a lot of 80s rock and roll and hair bands, things like that. But I'm one of them guys that I like. There's a lot of country I like. In the 80s and early 90s, early to mid 90s had really good country. And then, I always liked NWA and Eazy-E and the Beastie Boys and Sir Mix-a-Lot. I liked a lot of that rap. There were some. Two Live Crew, I really didn't care for them too much. But nonetheless, I liked a pretty good variety of music. And, yeah, I miss it. I had a friend that he's no longer here, but he told me one day, he said, all the memories we have growing up, he said, I wouldn't sell them for $1 million. He's like, man, they were great. I wouldn't sell them for $1 million. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, but you couldn't give me $1 million to live them again. And, yo, Mike, if you're listening, I've always remembered that. And I'll always remember that until I'm not here either. Because that's a pretty true statement. And I think that rings true in a lot of things in my life that I cherish. And they were a hard road to get there. I wouldn't want to do it again. You couldn't take those memories from me, but I wouldn't want to live them again. So, yeah. So, shout out there to my buddy Mike that's been gone. My goodness. It's probably been 20 years since he's been gone. So, anyway, there's my words of wisdom for the day. Like I said, I was going to keep it relatively short. So, here it is. I'm just at 11 minutes. And I'm trying to build my channel. So if you would just like subscribe and share, I'd like to get more subscribers. Not trying to make money off it. I always say this. I'm not trying to make money off it because I'm really not. I'm just trying to grow the channel, make it bigger. Just because that's what I do. Because of my jogging days are over, so I got to have something to do. And my thumbs get sore playing Xbox. And I have to stay within, not always, but for long periods of time, because it's hard lugging green oxygen bottles around. I have to stay within 25 feet, hooked to this thing like a scuba diver. And I'm all right with it. I'm thankful to breathe. I know not breathing is no fun, so I'm thankful that I can breathe every day. But yeah, so trying to grow just because it gives me something to do. Feel like I got a little bit of a job to try and come up with content, which reminds me, I'm pretty certain I have access to an old building that anybody that's seen the old Jack Nicholson movie, The Shining, that's what this old building is like. It was an old nursing home and it's empty. When I say empty, it's 99% of the contents are out of it. Carpet and stuff's still there. The walls are still there. It's not falling down, but it's not abandoned. It's just not being used. And the power's still on, but they don't use all the lights. So it's a building that has several really long hallways. I've been in there during the day and I've been in there at night. And it's an old nursing home. So I don't know, for lack of a better way of putting it, there's probably been some death there. And I think I'm gonna do a video there. I think I'm gonna go in and walk around a little bit with my bottle. So I can't run. I'll just have to put up with whatever I find. But I think I'm gonna do a video about that. So I should have done it over Halloween, but I didn't get the thought until after Halloween. So I'll do it post Halloween, like a little, I guess, a haunted, because it is kind of freaky. Go down a dark hallway and it's lit on the end, or you go down a lit hallway and it's dark on the end. Just kind of weird, kind of freaky, and then everything being empty. So yeah, hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have something put together. I'm trying to find somebody to go with me. I've got a couple people in mind, and basically just walk around and see what it's like during the day. And I'm not sure. I think I'll have my trusty old iPhone with me. So yeah, that's in the future. Like I say, I'm trying to build this a little bit, trying to get some momentum going. So subscribe. If you know anybody that would be interested in watching any kind of content like this, please subscribe. Let them know. Say, hey, it's not going to cost you anything. You don't get a bill every month for watching the content that I'm making on this channel. I just make it, and hopefully some of you guys put a little thumbs up down there, and if you ever see me on, click on it, get on here, talk to me. I got a chat window. I'll be glad to talk with you. I know there's a couple people that, I'm not going to say they look forward, but every video I put out, they watch. So double thumbs up to you guys. I appreciate it. I'd mention names, but it's not necessary because you know who you are. And let's see what else. Rumble, the platform Rumble. If you guys are part of that or you want to be part of that, join that. It's just basically, it's like YouTube, real similar. Not going to cost you anything. My name on Rumble, if you look over here, you see 95 Sporty 1. You can't see it because of it's kind of getting blocked out, but it says 95 Sporty 1. On Rumble, I'm 95 Sporty minus the 1, just 95 Sporty. So if you happen to want to go to Rumble, join that platform, see what they got going on, please click, put in, search for me, 95 Sporty. You'll see me come up, sitting in the same place, same background. All this is the same. So you should recognize me right away. Give me a subscribe there. Once again, anybody you know, share it and be like, hey, this guy talks about a lot of dumb stuff. It's kind of strange. Sometimes I get like a couple hundred views, and sometimes I can't get past a dozen. So I'm trying to figure that out. Trying to get some more subscribers to, grow some momentum. So once again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Right up here at the top, there's a thumbs up. You can click on that thumbs up. There's also a share. So anyway, there it is. Go find yourself Tortilla Flat, Arizona. And I hope y'all have a good Monday. If you don't see me tomorrow, I'll be here on hump day to try and get you through the hump day part of the week. And there we go. New chair. I don't know if anybody can see it. Got me a new chair so I can sit here a little bit longer now. And yeah, things are looking up. I'm proud of my setup. It's been a long, hard road. I got this computer here that I know nothing about, but I'm able to make things work. So there we are. You all have a good Monday. I'll see you in the next couple days.